Why do we care so much about what other people think? Or when we start working on it or thinking about it, why can't we just stop caring about what other people think? So the reasons behind this are probably not what you think you are. And understanding this changes how you approach social interactions. So let's think about the experiences that we have that everyone knows. Replaying conversations, wondering if you sounded weird in conversations or things like that, reading into texts, trying to figure out if someone likes you, or just feeling stuck after a conversation. Now, a lot of people look at this and they think to themselves like, man, I'm too nice, right? I'm always out looking for validation. Maybe I have low self-esteem. I'm too nice. Why can't I just stop being nice? Why can't I be an asshole? It seems like assholes get all the attention, right? Or they just walk through life effortlessly and they don't care. So when we look at this from this first glance, it seems like I said, like you care too much about other people's opinions. But the thing is, what's actually happening behind the scenes is that the mind is searching for, so when we go into these moments, maybe it's a conversation, maybe it's a text message, that the mind wants to be certain about an outcome. We're always looking for, a yes and a response, right? The brain always wants answers. It doesn't deal in uncertainty. And so it's always looking for, do they like me? Did I mess up? What are they thinking? Did I do the right thing? Right? It's always looking for like a balance in things. And so there's this sense that we have that if I'm searching for, did I do it right? Did I get the answers? That I'll feel safe. That finally, that it'll be okay. That I can express myself. But the problem is that the trap in this, if we were to say, is that there's no way that we can actually know, especially beforehand, what it is that somebody's going to be thinking. Right? So we go into this sort of thing trying to basically read people's minds. We try to read their micro expressions, their mannerisms, their anything, because we're always searching for that certainty. But in the end, you're never going to know what somebody else is thinking. You never behind the scenes, you're never going to necessarily know. And so what happens is that your mind fills in the blanks. Because again, the mind is always searching for answers. And it's going to do whatever it can to get those answers. It's either going to try to read their minds. Well, that didn't work. I'm going to try to read their micro expressions. Man, there's a lot of uncertainty in that. I don't know. It's still ambiguous. It's still gray. I don't know what to do. And so what it does is it starts to fill in the blanks on its own. And when you think about it, the mind isn't going to fill in the blanks with things. It's going to fill in the blanks with things that are going to keep you safe. Right? So it's not going to fill in the blanks with things like, yeah, they totally want you to come over there and start that conversation. Or they really thought it was funny, even though they didn't laugh, right? The mind is going to replace it with things that are going to keep you out of harm's way, that are going to keep you safe. So it's going to replace it with like, no, that was a horrible idea. They hated that joke. It was super awkward. God, why do you always do this? And so most of the time, like I'm saying, most of the time the mind is going to fill in the blanks with the worst case possible scenario. So, but the thing is that the more that we search for that certainty, the more that we try to read their mind, the more that we try to read the micro expressions and the body language and all of these different things, we're never getting 100% certainty. And so as we're doing that, your anxiety continues to rise. And so here we are, we had anxiety about saying the thing or being us or inviting somebody to go out and do something. And the longer that we wait and the longer that we search, the more that anxiety grows and strengthens. So I can't tell you how many times that I have gone into maybe hard conversations or introductions with people or inviting people places. And just the other day, I did a video about Panda Express. there I was waiting in line, standing behind this guy, and I had a thought come through about introducing myself. And there was a plethora of things in my mind was like, nope, he just wants to stand here, don't talk to a guy, right? Don't mention to a guy like, hey man, you're so tall. Any number of these different things. And again, it goes back to my mind trying to keep me safe. And I was searching for certainty in that sense. And so if we're to narrow this down to the real problem or what the issue is, it's not that a lot of times, like I said, it's that we think we're addicted to the approval, right? Like, God, why am I always searching for it? And it's not that we're addicted to the approval. It's more so that we're not okay in the space of uncertainty, that it's not okay for us to not know the outcome. And so it's really about a different problem, right? So because if uncertainty is the problem, then confidence isn't about eliminating uncertainty. So confidence is really about being willing to not know, to letting people feel however it is they feel and have any experiences that they're having, and us maybe at times not really having any insight into what that is. So allowing someone to be upset, to be excited, to be whatever it is, and for us to not have to, like, our worth and our esteem and validation isn't based on whether or not we can read from them what that expression is. So the goal with confidence is to be able to be in that space of not knowing what the other person is thinking, what the other person is feeling, and still being able to show up anyway. Still being able to have the conversation, to make the introduction without knowing how it's going to end, without knowing how it is that they're going to feel about it. And really acting from this place of your own identity and your own values and your own worth. So the next time that you notice yourself starting to maybe search for this approval, or you start wondering whether or not they like you, whether they liked you or whether that was awkward, did I say the wrong thing? I want you to pause and I want you to ask yourself, am I trying to solve something that can actually be solved? And then I want you to redirect your attention to just staying present in the moment, continuing the conversation, or maybe reaching out again, whatever it might be, but living in accordance to your own values instead of chasing certainty, instead of chasing knowing for sure whatever the outcome might be. So the goal here is to not stop caring about what other people think, right? It's not to go from, I'm just going to start being an asshole and forgo the whole caring about what other people think. The goal is to stop waiting until we're certain about what the outcome is before we take action. So if this resonated with you, I encourage you to subscribe. And if you're ready to practice this in real life, come over and join the Social Confidence Lab, and the details for that are in the show notes.